Welcome to 20-Minute Leaders. Just sit back, relax, and learn from the leaders of today. It's a journey. Each one is different, unique, inspiring. Let's get started.
20-Minute Leaders is a proud supporter of Make-A-Wish Israel and Tech to Peace, and is in proud collaboration with Secret Chord Ventures, J Ventures, Riverside FM, Fusion VC, Birthright Excel, J Impact, Leap, Google for Startups, and Hippo, and in media partnership with CTech. Hello and welcome to 20-Minute Leaders. Today we're talking to Iesh Dixit, the CEO and co-founder of Powerplay, an end-to-end construction management SaaS platform that aids in the simplification of communication and synergizing collaboration within project teams in the construction industry. In his capacity within the organization, he heads Powerplay's corporate team, fostering both internal and external communication, implementing the company's vision, and evaluating the organization's short and long-term goals. Overall, Iesh supervises the smooth functioning of all departments while overseeing the holistic development of the organization. Iesh Dixit, welcome to 20-Minute Leaders. Thank you so much for being here. How are you?
I'm good. Thanks for having me, Michael.
Thank you very much for being here, talking about your entrepreneurial journey and why you're doing what you're doing. Really, this is what the show is about, trying to uncover why people do what they do and what is it that gets them so excited about what they're doing. Today, you're the CEO of Powerplay, but you're a serial entrepreneur. That's evident from your background. And today, you're looking at construction tech and communication, inventory, and everything that has to do with construction. So thank you very much for being here.
Yeah, same here. Really excited for the discussion you are going to have.
Well, I think we can get started talking about, you as a serial entrepreneur. It's hard enough to go through this adventure once or twice. I believe it's been even more times for you. What is sort of entrepreneurship for you if you had to think through your own personal journey?
Okay, so I feel entrepreneurs it's like economic scientists. We are trying out different things, but in business world, it requires a lot of 0 to 1 artistic journey. But soon after that, once you figure out 0 to 1, then you have to figure out 1 to 10, and then 100 to 10 to 100. So the journey keeps on changing, and I've seen a lot of entrepreneurs who really like the first bit of things, like the early part of how things are being figured out, and that research part, and like digging into the problem statements and trying to figure out the best solution. But it's not just about that. I recently learned there are a lot many other things that you need to do. So I would say entrepreneurs are like economic scientists. So let me take you back to my journey. The first fundamental reason when I started up. So I'm an engineer by my education. I was in IIT Roorkee. It's a renowned institute for engineering students in India. I graduated. I was a placer software dev in an early stage, fast growth startup. I left my job in a month. I just could not accept the fact that I'm working for someone else. Maybe that is just personal to me, but then I later found out after reading about different entrepreneurs like Max Levchin of PayPal and others, that somewhere in entrepreneurs, this inherent mindset of not working for others and maybe doing something on their own, and then this unlimited curiosity about how to make things work. I think that is what entrepreneurs are about, according to me.
Incredible. Now, obviously, there's, you're mentioning this artistic 0 to 1 journey, yet there's infinite resilience and adversity that you have to overcome. What has been your experience with that? Where did you find major adversity on your own entrepreneurial journeys leading up to now?
Yeah. So when I started so my first startup, I started in 2015. I was a very naive, young person, wanted to start a company. I remember pitching to, I think, 63 investors and not getting a yes.
Wow.
And I remember, man, the 55th, I think it was the 55th or 56th investor meeting, I felt pathetic. I felt, man, this is tough. Why do people do this? I was outside with my co-founder, and we're discussing, man, let's just ignore this. Actually, the meeting did not really go well, and we were asked some questions that were legit questions, and we did not have answers to those questions. And when we went outside the meeting, like once the meeting got over and we were feeling pathetic, my co-founder said, "Let's ignore all of this." And that's when this hit me that no, man, we can't just ignore this. There is some solid feedback coming our way, and if we would have heard this feedback in the 12th meeting, maybe we were not there for the 55th meeting, right? And that is when, so this is the kind of attitude which is, I think, like required. It's not just about hard work. Let's not romanticize the fact that you have to work hard and like go to 100 pitches and all that. You can make it work in the maybe 5th or 10th pitch, right? Or maybe you can make it work without doing all that, making your hands bleed sort of thing, maybe. And I think when I started up for the second time, a lot of these learnings were with me, and I think it took 6 months or maybe less than 10 pitches for me to raise a good amount of seed money and execute what I wanted to. So yeah, means that adversity had actually taught me to be smart, to actually think 6 steps down the line and take the right decisions upfront.
Incredible. Tell me a little bit about, your most recent venture you've been running for the last few years, construction tech, Powerplay. Where did construction tech enter your life that it made you want to tackle this problem?
That's an interesting question. So I have no background in construction.
Right.
So Michael, when I failed at my last company, failed in the sense I had to shut it down. A lot of learnings, but yet failed. So what I realized is entrepreneurs really need to invest a lot of time in choosing the right problem that they would want to spend a long time on, right? And having an idea about the problem, if you have personally faced the problem, that helps a lot. Because obviously perseverance is required and all that, but it helps a lot that if you understand the problem. When we started, so I particularly did not know what business I will start when I left my job in 2019 again. Me and my co-founder, we sat down, we made a list of, I think, 23 ideas, all of these from our personal experiences. Just before Powerplay, we made an app which went through our emails and told us all about our paid subscriptions so that you can cancel the unwanted ones, right? So personal problems that we have faced sometime in our life and it has impacted us. We noted down all these problems. This problem was basically my parents' house was getting renovated. I was in charge to get that done. Nothing happened in time. Nothing happened in budget. I was struggling on WhatsApp groups. My contractor was not giving me the right data that I wanted to. All of this happened and we kept a note of this problem. And when we started, so the idea was we were trying before this. It worked. Friends were liking it, but we did not see a big opportunity. When I say big opportunity, maybe can we be $100 billion company someday, right? And if you want to become that, the market has to be big in the next 10 years. We did not find that really big. And that's when we came to this idea. And Michael, when we started talking to users in this space, oh my God, people did not have a solution, to be very honest. People were trying their way out and trying solutions. Like, for example, in India specifically, if you, in US, the customers already have sophisticated software solutions. But in India, people just have WhatsApp and Microsoft Excel. There was no other software penetrated in the industry, and people were trying their way out, trying to find some hack by using WhatsApp, pen, paper, and Excel. And I was blown away because every early customer was trying out something, trying to hire someone to make something, trying to use a solution by customizing it, etc. And that was the ultimate proof that these people actually need something. And we converted our first customer just on Figma designs. There was no software.
Actually,
we told them, this is the product you will get. And once the person was converted, we just made that in 2 weeks.
Wow. Okay. So tell me a little bit about the sort of the ideation process from understanding the pain point to actually creating those Figma, workflows and onboarding your first customer. What was that internal process like for you?
So there was a basic thing that we had. So it was our 5th or 6th idea that we were trying out. So me and my co-founder Shubham, we got experts in our approach the work was divided in a manner that I used to go and talk to users, and he was the one who was going to code whatever we decided, and it was a daily iteration. So what we used to do, there was a fixed format of digging into users' life. It was a 5-step framework where we used to ask, okay, if let's say if I'm digging around, how do you manage your project? I would start by asking, what do you think is the hardest part around managing your project on a day-to-day basis? And that would give me the top of the mind problem in user's mind, right? And then I started digging not his opinions, but started asking about his experience. So I would ask, okay, so if you face this problem, if you feel this is the biggest problem, tell me the last time you faced it, right? And that would take me to his life, and he will tell the exact instances, not putting his opinions in between, right? And that's where we started understanding, okay, this is the problem the user is facing, the customer is facing. And then making solution is like, if you nail the right problem, making a software or an app for people like us is not tough. So that's how we did the first weeks of iteration. And the biggest challenge that found in the first 5 customers was, frankly, in construction, the back office teams don't really think that the site workers would actually use software. They don't have confidence on their tech savviness.
Right. And so what did you, and what was your impression on that sort of trigger, like from the get-go? Were you optimistic that they would, from a consumer behavior standpoint?
So actually, we did not know. When we started, we thought we will make it work. And so when we converted the first five customers, and the implementations were going on and people were expecting that data would come and all that, we realized that there is some friction in the site team's mind to use the product. And that is where the major innovation that we did in 2020 happened. So what we did is, we realized that the site team will never use the app if it's not solving a problem for them, not for their company, but for them, right? And one of their major pain points was to make a daily progress report or a weekly progress report. After all they do on the site, they have to go back to their home. They don't own a laptop. They ask their son or daughter to just open MS Docs and just put all these photos from WhatsApp in that doc and type some text, convert to PDF, and then send that PDF over WhatsApp or mail to their boss. We made this entire workflow in a few clicks. And that is when they actually started using the product. And now the entire go-to-market is very simple. It's bottoms up. Site team starts using the app. When they are heavily engaged, our team reaches out to their back office telling them there's a product their team is already using. Why don't you use the premium?
So how do you get the people on site to actually discover the product and figure out, that they can be leveraging something new rather than what they've already been doing with pen and paper?
So there's a very interesting thing here. Just a shout out to my team. Our Instagram followers are going to reach 1 million.
Actually,
and all of these people, yes, and all of these people are site or supervisors, project managers on the site. And if you see our content, this content is like pure site execution content. It's talking about bricklaying. It's talking about excavation. So all of this is very personalized to them. That is one of the major channels of awareness about the product. And obviously we do outbound reach out through campaigns. But yeah, that's how we do it. And obviously now, since we are scaling and we are scaling revenues and all that, so we are figuring out more channels because we want predictable pipeline to scale the revenues. But yeah, that's how it did in the early days.
Wow, 1 million followers on Instagram from creating the targeted content that is relevant for your end customers. Now, I assume that a lot of this content is not necessarily, it's not just about Powerplay and the app. It's about traditional things in their day-to-day that are relevant for them.
Yes, absolutely.
Interesting. And then you see sort of you see a conversion by them. It's somewhere down the line that they get interested enough that they check out the description, they check out the company, and then they start using the app. But you want something that's a little bit more sales and data driven, intentional pipeline.
Yeah. So we have started working on that last year, but early 6 months was about this.
Incredible. Now, as you're continuing to building out the product, what are some things that you've learned about, sort of your own leadership style as you're building these companies and you're building these teams? Who is
Yeah.
sort of Iesh as a leader?
I'm a very hands off person. I don't really micro. So uh, the people that I've hired, this is not their first startup. Uh, they have been working in startups, and they join Powerplay. And most of the feedback that I get from my leadership team, who's like at least 5 to 10 years experience, is that I'm really hands off. The thing that really matters to me is the cultural and strategic alignment. So I meet my leadership every week once, and that one meeting with every leadership every leader is is around cultural and strategic alignment. So my job is to think the next 6 months, 12 months, but actually on ground execution is done by those folks. So they come up with the next 1 month or next 3 month challenges and the problems that they want to solve. And I love solving problems, so I discuss with them and I help them around. But this 6 month or 12-month alignment is brought by me. So when the direction is pretty clear and tools and supplies are provided to your team and they are internally motivated, I think people can do wonders. We as humans do what we really want to do. And if you hire the right person, they will just do, and there is alignment, they will just do what you had to do in the first place. That's my style. Yeah, I try to enable people, give them what they need, and just get out of their way.
And so if you're looking at, what's been most successful for you in determining what's been, most meaningful and getting you the right feedback on your products, is it more active feedback or passive feedback? In that, I guess passive feedback is more, feedback that you collect yourself, that based on usage, rather than active feedback is when you outreach yourself to the customers to get it.
Okay, so in the early days, it was more of an active, where we reached out to people, sort of thing. But as we scaled to more than 10, 15, 20 customers, what we did is, on the face, we put an option to reach out to the CEO. So there was a WhatsApp reach out section where you can just talk to me. And when we scaled from 20 to, I remember 5,000 customers, 5,000 users, I was the one juggling in those messages. Then I hired someone. But yeah, means once we reached at a particular scale, a lot of users found that space to talk to the founders really relevant in giving us feedback. Yeah, I think users came up with different ideas. You can also think about this. Our approach was obviously to understand what the problem is. Why are they saying such things? Why do they want this, etc., etc. But that made it really, really transparent. Users really felt the rate of innovation was pretty high with us, and they really loved the speed by which we were bringing on the solving their problems and bringing all the features on the platform.
Incredible. If you're thinking through the vision, long-term vision of Powerplay, what do you hope that this becomes?
I usually compare this to, in consumer tech, things have really evolved, right? When iPhones and smartphones came out in 2007, 8, consumers, like, there were very less people who were using iPhones or smartphones, but the time they spent on these platforms were tremendously high. It was in hours, right? Something similar is happening for businesses. So if you look at my power users, they spend more than an hour on the product every day, right? And since we are vertical SaaS, what we envisage is that one day a construction business will do most of its work through the platform that we have built. We sort of will become an operating system, software operating system for their workflows. Right now, we are just project execution. Right? We will go pre-construction, we will go post-construction, we will get into finance, we will get into procurement. But this can only and only happen when the product is sticky. When you are a default OS, when people spend time on your platform. And that is the reason we call ourselves as Slack for construction, because the use case that we chose was communication. It happens hourly. There is a possibility to develop stickiness in such a product. So we started with communication use case, which is from sites to office. All of that communication is basically done by WhatsApp. And now we will go in deeper in the workflows that are less frequent, but more important. And we would want to cover all the workflows in the industry. And then not just SaaS, we would want to make money by enabling third-party suppliers, third-party software providers, etc. on the platform.
Incredible. Well, it's a grand vision. And Iesh, thank you very much for sharing it with me and for sharing, a little bit about your passion and excitement for the entrepreneurial world as a whole. That excitement is contagious at the least. So thank you very, very much. I wish you best of luck with Powerplay, and thank you for the time.
Thanks for your time, Michael, as well. Lovely talking to you.
Thank you very, very much.